What's good? What's good? In this video, I'm gonna show you what I did to go from this to this. You guys already know what it is. Get in a calorie deficit, add some progressive overload with weight training, and have the consistency. Do this day in, day out. Dedication, commitment, self-respect, and accountability. First thing I did was on day number 1, I woke up, took a piss, took a shit, and I weighed myself. I started off at around 153 pounds and a half. I took that number and I times it by 10. That gave me my daily calorie intake. That put me about 1,500 calories each day. My macro breakdown was 45% carbs, 35% proteins, 20% fats. In addition to my macros, I do take supplements, not steroids or tests or PEDs, none of that stuff. Your boy is natty. Multivitamin, vitamin D, ODD, fish oil pills, magnesium, glucosamine. I also made my own electrolytes. Very simple, mainly salt, 80% salt, and then the rest is magnesium, sodium chloride, and then potassium. Next thing I did, I also downloaded the app MyFitnessPal. This is where it allowed me to track my calories day in and day out. Make sure that I'm staying on track. That was pretty much my nutrition side of things. And of course, at 1,500 calories, it's not a lot of volume. What I would always do is buy a grip ton of lettuce in every single meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner. It just made me more full without the calories. Wise words of C-Bum. If you want to get shredded, you got to eat shredded lettuce. Now when it comes down to training, the training was very basic. Push, pull, leg day. I always start off my days with legs. I start off with some leg curls, either seated or lying, depending on what equipment's available for me at the gym. But I do that movement first because it allows my hips to get loose, blood flow into the legs without actually targeting the quads. It makes my knees feel good, get blood flow in the knees. And then in addition, also more volume on the hamstrings, because I feel like a lot of people, they neglect the hamstrings. They do this crazy massive quad workout and then they throw in like 2-3 sets at the end for some hamstrings. And after lying leg curls, this is when I get into my compound movement. Typically I would do barbell squats. If all the squat machines are taken, then I will get into either the hack squats or the parallel hack squats. Keep in mind, all of these movements that I do a variation of failure at the end. Now, failure could look different for each exercise. On like the leg curls, on the last set, I might hit 3 drop sets, or I might do 1 drop set and then do partials and then rep them out as much as I can. So it depends. With barbell squats, I like doing about 4 to 5 sets, and then on my last set, I like stripping it off, doing a drop set, and then just ripping out as much as I can. Next movement is leg presses. Same thing, 4 sets. With these, I hit 12 to 15 reps each set, and then on the last set, I do 2 or 3 drop set depending on my energy levels and how I'm really feeling, man. After that, I get into some leg extensions. Do 3 to 4 sets on these. Same thing, last set, go to failure. That completes my quad workout. I'll get into some hamstring work. I would either do the leg curls again, depending if it's available or not. And if not, I would do some stiff legs, deads. How I would perform this movement, I would have both my feet against the wall, facing away from the wall, take 1 step forward. That's my distance away from the wall. So I like doing dumbbells with these, and I like doing them in front of a wall because it forces me to push my hips back. And if my glutes don't hit the wall, that means I'm doing it incorrectly. That means I'm just moving the weight down without actually bringing my hips back. By bringing the hips back, that's when you get the full stretch in the hamstring and you're actually working the correct muscles. To finish off my legs, I do calves. I do 4 sets of these, 15 reps minimum, as heavy as possible. Some people call me crazy and some people say that I'm doing too much, but I hit calves abs and cardio every single day. If my calves and abs are not sore from the previous day's workout, then I hit it again. And even if they're slightly sore, I bang those babies out again every single day. This is what works for me. People say I'm doing too much. They only need 30-40 minutes in the gym. You guys do you. This is what I do, and this is my program here. That completes my leg workout. Next day is chest. Keep in mind, my chest is kind of one of my weak points because I have an injury. I have a permanent injury right here on my shoulder. Before, I used to do barbell bench, and I used to always do it incorrect form. I used to flare on my arms 90 degrees like this, you know. Well, stupid to me, I didn't understand the anatomy of the bones. Your collarbone right here is actually, it's stationary. It doesn't move, but you have your shoulder blades in the back. Now, whenever you do a pressing movement like this, your shoulder blades actually come around like this. They curve, and when they curve up to your collarbone. Well, when you do incorrect form, your collarbone and your shoulder blade, they clash, boom. And what's up happening is you get fractures, splinters right here in your bone. I'm such a dummy. I injured myself, and I've been doing this throughout the years, but I never really understood. The last time that it happened, I injured myself, and the next day I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and I didn't give it time to heal. Typically injuries like that, you give it time to heal and it comes back to normal. But for me, I'm such a dummy. I just kept working out, kept going through the pain, and eventually I'm stuck with this permanently. I have a slight fracture in my collarbone right here, so it hurts for me to do pressing movements. I start off chest with incline bench. I do flat necks, 4 sets of these, 10 to 12 reps. Bang these babies out. But with incline, I don't do a very high incline. I do just a slight 20-25 degree incline. It allows me to still target the chest, but without the shoulder pains. After some dumbbell presses, I get into some hammer presses. I love these machines. I do the same thing, flat and then incline, 4 sets, 10 to 12 reps on these. I love these because I can just focus on the squeeze and the stretch without any of the stability. I love doing cable flies because it takes the tension off of my bicep. And yes, I do have another injury. My bicep is messed up. I have bicep tendonitis. For me to even do a 5-pound curl hurts like a mother. I'm just going through it on my left arm. Seated machine flies, 3 sets of this, 12 to 15 reps. And because I'm on the seated fly machine, I do reverse flies for my rear delts. I always start off my shoulders from the back and I work my way front. So rear delt, side delt, front delt. With these though, I do something a little different for the rear and the side delts. I do 4 sets each, 4 to 5 sets depending on how much energy I have and how I'm feeling that day. But instead of doing the full wide movement, I do half reps, but I go heavy as F as much as possible, where I can do 15 reps minimum with very good form. Because if you notice, when you do the movement here, most of the tension is from the bottom and halfway up. Once you get halfway up, you don't feel that tension on the delts anymore. And that's a trick I learned, and from doing that, I blew up my delts really freaking big, really fast in a short amount of time. Rear delts first, side delts second. I do these on the machines. It helps with my bicep. I can't hold the weights as much. And next I do overhead pressing movements. I love the same thing with on this overhead pressing movements. I don't like doing the dumbbells or the machine or the barbell because, again, my injury. But what I love doing is the seated machine where they have the neutral grip here. And it feels, for me, when I do the neutral grip, I can actually feel the front delt actually working as opposed to this. When I do this, I feel like an overall movement and I don't really get that good squeeze. And I think this is the best part about working out. You have options of dumbbell, barbell, cables. You do what works best for you. And for me, I love this machine. This is what works best for me. After the overhead presses, I do shrugs. Now I love shrugs because it allows me to actually load the bar up, load the weights up as much as I can, and then just rip them out. I do 15 reps minimum on this exercise, and I do 4 sets. After shrugs, I get into some tricep work. I will admit tricep is something that I've neglected for a long time, and it wasn't only recently that I started doing some tricep work. Now what I do is I do the dumbbell skull crushers. I do about 3 to 4 sets on these, 10 to 12 reps, and then I do some cable press downs, 3 to 4 sets, 10 to 12 reps, and then you already know, calves, abs, and cardio. Can't miss it, baby. My next day would be back, and back is a very difficult day for me to perform because I am dealing with a bicep injury, and I've been dealing with that for several months now. It sucks because I just kind of fight through the pain, and I know when I give it time to rest, it heals. But because I was such in a moment where I wanted to build, I just kept fighting through the pain. But my back day, it's very simple. I start off with all my vertical movements. I do all my pulls first. I would always start off with pull-ups, weighted pull-ups. I do about 6 sets on these, 7 sets, and each set I just go to failure. And because I'm doing pull-ups, they have the different angles to hit, and bodybuilding is all about hitting different angles to structure and build the body. So what I do is I do the overhand grip, 5, 6, 7 sets with weights, and then each other angle I do body weighted, and then I do the neutral grip, and then neutral wide grip, neutral close grip, and then slight underhand grip. And besides the overhand grip, I would do 3 sets minimum on each one. After all the pull movements are done, I get into some rows. Now with rows, I start off with barbell rows. I love doing the underhand grip. Most people that you see do the overhand grip, but I wasn't really feeling the contraction, that squeeze in the back that you're supposed to feel. So for me, I would do these underhand grip and just pull with my elbow back, and I would get a good contraction. So for me, that's what works best. Next, I'll get into some dumbbell rows, or the hammer, or the chest supported row, depending on where I'm at. Most gyms that I go to don't have the chest supported T-bar row, so what I end up doing is just some dumbbell rows instead. No way am I doing deadlifts again, but one thing I do incorporate is rack pulls. And it's good that I incorporate this powerlifting move into the bodybuilding program because it allows me to focus on strength in the program. Now with this movement, I would do anywhere between 5 to 8 reps, depending on how I'm feeling. And a lot of people call me crazy because I'm just adding a lot of value, but after rack pulls, I would do some shrugs again. I would do some trap work. And I noticed by doing this, this is what allowed me to grow my traps. May not work for you, call me dumb, whatever. I added into my program. Because I am dealing with an injury and I'm rehabbing my bicep, I don't do any bicep work at all. And you already know, you gotta add in some calves, abs, and cardio at the end of the program, no matter what. Here's the part that actually gets a little tricky because the next day is supposed to be leg day, right? My next workout. But if I went too hard on my leg day, the previous workout, so instead of hitting legs and they're not fully recovered yet, I would hit chest. And yeah, I would hit chest my next day. And then the next day after that, I would hit legs. And then by then my back should be healed and I'll hit back afterwards. So, you know, when people think of the programming, they always think, okay, I gotta stick to this very strict protocol. Push, pull, legs, rest. Push, pull, legs, rest. Push, pull, legs, push, pull, legs, push, pull, legs. Well, you know, a lot of times people forget about the key term, which is recovery. That's going to be the most important factor going forward, because imagine if you do push pull legs, right, and you take a rest day and you're supposed to do push the next day again, but you're too sore because you just went too beast, and that's actually one of your weak points, right? One of your weakest muscles, and it takes so much longer to recover. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna wait? Are you gonna push through it? Like, what do you do? So that's why when it comes to programming, there isn't one exact like strict calendar you have to abide by, right? It's how your body works, and you just gotta play around with it. What works best for you? So for me, typically by that time I'm supposed to hit legs again. I already know my body. I don't hit it too hard, but even if I do and it's slightly sore, I always say and I'll take some caffeine and I'll just run right through the program. And even if I do decide to take a day off, I'm doing an active rest day. I'm taking this little bad boy, I'm taking that little bad boy, and we're going for a long old walk. We're getting in some freaking steps. And then of course some abs and calves. But that's pretty much it. That is my program. That is what got me from fat to fit. Hopefully this video helped you out. If it did, comment below, like the video, subscribe, share this with all your homies. Hey, even share this with your mama. Until next time, peace. Boom.